Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 38 of Diehlman at Halftime, the NBA podcast that tops all others. I'm your host, Larry Diehlman. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard, and if you've been a loyal listener, welcome back. We have much to get to today and not a lot of time to do it. We have 5 sections that we'll get into: a general overview of the NBA this week, and our usual highlight, lowlight, random stat, and game of the week. Let's get to our content for the week. What a story that unfolded on Saturday night. Philadelphia 76ers superstar Joel Embiid was recently criticized in a column by Philadelphia Inquirer writer Marcus Hayes. Embiid called him out the other day before shoving Hayes in the Sixers locker room in Saturday's loss against the Grizzlies. Embiid and Paul George have yet to make their season debuts, although George is expected to make his Sixers debut tonight in Phoenix. This situation keeps getting worse and worse. The NBA fined the Sixers $100,000 for inconsistent statements about Embiid's health. The Sixers are 1-4 as they begin a tough West Coast trip, and now the Embiid-Hayes beef. As a reminder, the NBA has been back for only 2 weeks. So if you're not familiar with the situation, let me read you the excerpt which has people talking and why Embiid is so angry. Quote, Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son Arthur as the major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great, to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a Sixer. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. Embiid has been great at just the opposite. Now in his 11th season, he consistently has been in poor condition. This poor conditioning apparently seems to have delayed his debut this season. End quote. Yeah, taking shots at a family member, especially a deceased family member, not the greatest idea ever. And a lot of people on social media thought that Hayes got what he deserved and plenty worse that I won't repeat. But it's just been a really bad situation all around for the Sixers. The team is just trying to keep him healthy, and then you have shots like this, which makes things a lot worse. So here's Embiid's response, what he said when he shoved Hayes in the locker room. Quote, the next time you bring up my dead brother and my son again, you are going to see what I'm going to do to you, and I'm going to have to live with the consequences. Yikes. So hopefully Embiid and Hayes can squash their beef eventually, but hopefully Hayes stays out of the locker room in the meantime. Let's move on. Another person has pleaded guilty in an NBA case that got significant coverage last season. 3 people, with former Toronto Raptors big man Jontay Porter being one of them, have admitted guilt in the betting scandal that ended Porter's career. There were 2 games in question where Porter would sub himself out of a game after scoring no points. He claimed to be either injured or ill. The individuals involved would bet the under on Porter's points on betting sites so that they'd receive large payouts. The NBA banned Porter for life, and he's awaiting sentencing on Wednesday, December 18th. The league also implemented the Jontay Porter rule, which forbids under bets for players on 2-way contracts or 10-day contracts. Way to go, Jontay Porter. Finally, no matter how much you try to get over a hump, it sometimes can't give you a break. Chicago Bulls guard Lonzo Ball, who just returned to regular season play after being out for 2.5 seasons with injuries, is injured again. Ball said this week that he has a sprained right wrist and that it's between grade 1 and 2. He's expected to be sidelined for at least 10 days. Ball was once a rising star with the Lakers and Pelicans, but injuries have derailed his career. While with Chicago, because of a meniscus tear and a few setbacks, Ball has been sidelined for more games than he's actually played. Hopefully, he can return within the coming weeks and get back to form. This episode is entitled Dethroned. So, who's raising eyebrows at the moment? Let's get to our highlight, the Cleveland Cavaliers. When the schedule makers hand you a reasonable stretch of games, you take advantage. The Cleveland Cavaliers are doing just that. The Cavs are 7-0 and sitting atop the Eastern Conference. This is not to take away from their undefeated start, but they have beaten teams like Detroit and Washington. Then again, they beat the Knicks and smacked around the Lakers. Cleveland's backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland is their bread and butter. Mitchell, in his third season in the land, is averaging 24.4 points, almost 4.5 assists, and almost 1.5 steals per game. Garland accounts for just shy of 18 points and 6.3 assists per night. If you think you can scheme against them, then how about a dose of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley in the paint? Allen and Mobley combined for about 33 points, 20 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. Dean Wade and George Niang off the bench provide good three-point shooting. Cleveland escaped their first-round series against Orlando last season before losing in 5 to the eventual champions, the Boston Celtics. To be fair, no one was getting past Boston last year. Under new head coach Kenny Atkinson, the Cavaliers should be in a good spot for at least the second round this season. Let's see how long they can keep that winning streak going. Their next game is tonight, Monday, November 4th at 7 p.m. They will host the Milwaukee Bucks, who they beat by 1 point on Saturday in Milwaukee. Let's get to our lowlight. Speaking of the Milwaukee Bucks, let's talk about them. The Bucks are 1-5 on the season and dead last in the East. Oh, did I mention they're on a 5-game losing streak too? Their lone win was against the Philadelphia 76ers on opening night. Since last season, the Bucks have been a train wreck. Damian Lillard was traded to Milwaukee from Portland, but they sacrificed Drew Holiday in the process. They fired then-new head coach Adrian Griffin 43 games into the 2023-24 season, despite a 30-13 record. Their defense under Griffin was atrocious, and he lost the locker room quickly. Milwaukee's record under Doc Rivers has been worse. They brought in exiled Lakers coach Darvin Ham as an assistant, and fans have been going crazy with memes on social media about those two. I saw one the other day referencing them as Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And 33-year-old Chris Middleton, who has yet to make his season debut, is recovering from double ankle surgery in the offseason. Yes, double ankle surgery for a 33-year-old basketball player. Yeah, it's not good. The team's leader, Giannis Antetokounmpo, is averaging 31 points, 12.3 rebounds, and almost 6.5 assists per game. Brook Lopez is still a good shot blocker even at 36 years old. Gary Trent Jr. and Bobby Portis are quality rotation pieces. However, Milwaukee needs to start exploring trades or draft options. The Bucks have been embarrassed in the first round in consecutive years, and as constructed, they aren't going anywhere this season. Their next game is tonight, Monday, November 4th at 7 o'clock. They will be in Cleveland taking on the Cavaliers. Let's get to our random stat. Rookies in sports can be a fun time for fans, or not. Sometimes they exceed expectations right away, other times they play like, well, rookies. Washington Wizards rookie center Alex Sarr has started his NBA career on the right foot. He's currently top 5 in the league with an average of 2.8 blocks per night. In his first 5 games, he's had at least 2 blocks in each, including 4 each in the last 2 games. Although his shooting numbers may not be up to par just yet, his defense appears to be a problem for opponents' scouting reports. In a league that has had a noticeable defense issue in recent years, teams prioritize offense. Being a good shooter separates good and bad players nowadays. Defense, however, can't really be taught. You're either a good defender or you're not. The Wizards are 2-3 already, which looks promising compared to their 15 wins last season. Zachary Risache of the Atlanta Hawks and Sarr, the top 2 draft picks this year respectively, have been under the radar in media coverage due to Bronny James. But if Sarr keeps playing like this, he might attract more media attention to himself. Does Washington have a franchise cornerstone preparing to blossom in the coming years? Finally, let's get to Game of the Week. For this week's Game of the Week, let's go with the Oklahoma City Thunder at Denver Nuggets. This game will be on Wednesday, November 6th at 9 p.m. Interestingly enough, these two opened their seasons against each other on Thursday, October 24th. The Thunder earned a commanding 102-87 victory. Don't let Denver's early record fool you. The Nuggets are still a great team as long as Nikola Jokic is playing at his usual level. The early part of a season can make good teams look bad and bad teams look good. Despite Denver losing starting sharpshooter Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in the offseason to Orlando, their core is relatively the same. Unfortunately for them, so is Oklahoma City's. This will be a battle of Jokic and Jamal Murray versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams. I had Oklahoma City and Denver as my Western Conference Finals prediction last season. Oops. Maybe this will be a playoff preview this time around. Give me the Thunder 121-118. Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on social media. I have 2 X or Twitter accounts and 2 Instagram accounts. The podcast accounts are under @Diehlman_NBA for both X and Instagram. My personal X account is @LarryDiehlman18, and my personal Instagram is @Mr_Sports18. They are also in the description on Buzzsprout, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to spread the word about Diehlman at halftime. See you next time, fellow Hoops fans.